Hey guys, come review with me for an English exam tomorrow. So I have exams and it's gonna be going on for like 4 days I think. So it's gonna start tomorrow Wednesday and it's gonna end in Saturday. Yeah, we got exams till Saturday now because apparently we had a lot of school suspensions in the past and we had to make up for it. So now we have Saturday exams, and thankfully it's only exams and not classes. So I've read the other lessons now. I want to focus on this lesson called The Contributions of Ancient Rome. So I'm just going to read some stuff here and I'm going to give out my commentary on some of the stuff here. So, you know, give you some insight on what I know. Right. Overview. Ancient Rome had a large influence on the modern world. Though it has been thousands of years since the Roman Empire flourished, we can still see the evidence of it in our art, architecture, technology, literature, language and law. From bridges and stadiums to books and the words we hear every day, the ancient Romans have left a mark on our world. Rome was founded by Romulus in 753 BC. Now I underlined Romulus and 753 BC because I believe it's important information. Even wrote it down here in my journal. The ancient Roman culture was one of the most influential empires of this time. By the way guys, do you think am I going to pass these exams that I'm reviewing for right now? I doubt I will, but I just, you know, still hope that I still have, you know, answers with them despite not really passing. Anyways, let's continue. This period of history saw accelerated thinking and enhanced creativity. Now we start off with one of these contributions they had, which is art and architecture. You know, it's very obvious. You know, if you go to Italy, you'd see the Colosseum. It was obviously built by the ancient Romans. So we have a series of architectural stuff here. Actually, we just have two. So we have arches and roads. Arches were created by ancient Romans with curved roofs and large-scale arches. Oh wait, no. Ancient Romans created curved roofs and large-scale arches. Okay, I'm mixing up my words. Which were able to support more weight than the post and beam construction the Greeks used. Wow, what a revolution. These arches serve as the foundation for the massive bridges and aqueducts the Romans created. The arches of the Colosseum are made of cement, a remarkably strong building material the Romans made with what they had at hand. Get this is what they made cement out of: volcanic ash and volcanic rock. Considering that Italy is a very seismically active country, it would make sense why they would have volcanic ash and volcanic rock. And then, you know, the Pompeii volcanic eruption, one of probably the deadliest. Obviously, it was the deadliest. I believe they probably used some of those in that. But yeah, if you don't know, Italy is a highly seismically active country. And Italy has had some earthquakes in the past. They have had some volcanic eruptions in the past, and you know, pretty sure you've heard about Pompeii, and that's the time that you learned that, oh my gosh, Italy is seismically active. Now back to this reviewing thing. Roads. The Romans built the most sophisticated system of roads the ancient world had ever seen. They built an expansive road network, a great achievement at the time. The roads were built by laying gravel and then paving with rock slabs. The Roman roads... Sorry, I just dropped something. The Roman road system was so large, it was said that all roads lead to Rome. Now we move on with science and technology. Now, talking about technology, we have aqueducts. I think they should be in architecture as well, you know, because they were part of the society. Yes, technology and architecture, but I mean, I guess they were kind of like the new tech back in the ancient days, you know, like, hey guys, check out my new aqueducts. bought this, you know, I funded it with the taxpayers' money. Well, at least it exists though, unlike the flood control barriers here. The Romans were extremely adept engineers, and they understood the laws of physics well enough to develop aqueducts and better ways to aid water flow. They harnessed water as energy for powering mines and mills. You've seen it around Italy, I guess, if you went there. And Trevi Fountain. For some reason, Trevi Fountain isn't here. I believe we should have went to architecture. It is considered a late Baroque masterpiece and is arguably the best known of the city's numerous fountains, yada yada yada. It was designed by Nicola Savi, which I underlined, and Giuseppe Panini in 1672. In 1762, oh my gosh. I also underlined the date, the year in the names, you know. According to legend, those who toss coins into its waters will return to Rome. Is that the technology here? It's a magnetic thing where you will return to Rome? Sorry, that was my phone. Up next is agriculture. The Romans became successful farmers due to their knowledge of climate, soil and other planting related subjects. Their techniques are still used by modern farmers, such as crop rotation, pruning, grafting, seed selection and manuring. If you're a farmer, you're probably familiar with those, so thank the Romans for it, okay? The Romans also used mills to process their grains from farming, which improved their efficiency and employed many people. I have no idea what a mill is, but I have probably seen it before and did not know that it was a mill. Up next is medicine. The Romans invented many surgical tools, such as the use of tourniquets to stop blood loss and pioneered the use of cesarean section. I'm a cesarean section. They were even known to disinfect surgical instruments in hot water before use. I believe this is called sanitation. It doesn't have a specific name here, but it only says disinfect surgical instruments in hot water before use. So I believe that's sanitation, you know. The ancient Romans established the first military medical corps to aid its soldiers on the battlefield. Viva l'Italia. Anyways, up next is law and government. Okay, it's just the next page. I actually just flipped the paper over. It's actually there. Anyways, I'm gonna keep on reading. The Roman government was one of the most influential and long-lasting political institutions in history. It evolved from a monarchy to a republic to an empire and back to a republic, with each form of government leaving a lasting impact on Western civilization. The use of Latin words is not the only way the ancient Romans have influenced the Western justice system. One of the principal contributions to freedom made by the Romans was their system of checks and balances, a setup in which no one person or area of government could gain too much power by overruling another by means of a veto, Latin for I forbid. Subpoena, habeas corpus, pro bono, affidavit, all these terms were derived from the Roman legal system. Subpoena. It is a writ, or I don't know how to pronounce this. It is spelled as W-R-I-T. So it's either a writ or a right, you know, rye or a writ. I don't know, you tell me. It is a writ issued by court authority to compel the attendance of a witness at a judicial proceeding. So we have two types here. We have subpoena ad testificandum, a writ summoning a witness to testify orally, or subpoena duces tecum, a writ instructing the witness to bring in handbooks, papers, or evidence for the court. I have to underline this. I have no time to write this in a notebook because I'm making a video on the side as well, you know, whatever, I'm just going to write. Whatever, I underlined it anyway. Anyways, up next we have habeas corpus, which is Latin for you have the body. It is a protection against illegal confinement, such as holding a person without charges when due process obviously has been denied, bail is excessive, parole has been granted, an accused has been properly surrendered by the bail bondsman, or probation has been summarily terminated without cause. I don't really know what this exactly means, but it's protection against illegal confinement. So it is something like having a warrant or something. Anyways, up next is affidavit. It is a written, sworn statement of fact voluntarily made by an affiant under an oath or affirmation administered by a person authority to do so by law. I have no idea what this means. Yeah, if there's anyone working here, if there's any lawyers here, can you explain to me further what do these mean? Excuse me. Anyways, up next we have social care and welfare. The ancient Roman administrations also developed welfare type programs. We have the pro bono publico, which is Latin for the public good. The offering of free services. Oh, we're gonna go to the back pages again. What? The offering of free that's it. Wow, that's it. I thought there was something more. Oh well. I was deeply invested. I thought they were gonna list more, but yeah. Anyways, we have other contributions now. We'll go to the other contributions. So we have the Roman numerals. Originally, Roman numerals were used to price goods and services. So we have a list of Roman numerals here, over there. So we have Ivxel Sudum. So I is 1, V is 5, X is 10, L is 50, C is 100, D is 500, M is 1000. Now I want to tell you guys something that I've noticed in Romance languages, that C in French is cent, which means 100, and in Spanish it's cien or cien, or in Italian it's I forgot what it is in Italian. So it is cent in French and cien in Spanish. So C is 100. So every time 100 comes into my mind, or C, the Roman numeral, I would think about 100, because it's the French word for 100, you know, cent, and cien in Spanish. D is 500, but in French it is obviously 500 or 500, but I don't know what this actually means. 1000 is M, because in Italian it means mille, or in French it means mille, or in Spanish it means mil. So yeah, I love how it just interconnects with each other. 5 is cinq in French, cinque in Italian, cinco in Spanish. L is cinquanta in Italian, cinquante in French, cinquenta in Spanish. So it's not really like that all the time, because 5 here is V, a 50 here is L. So it is quite confusing. But when I just think about 100 and 1000, I just have to think, you know, the language that it corresponds to. Like, what's 100 in French again? Oh, it's cent, so I have to put C. What's 1000 in French again? Oh, it's mille, so I have to put M. Anyways, let's move on. System of bookkeeping. The Romans invented the medium by creating a codex, a stack of bound pages. The first codices were made of bound wax tables, but these were later replaced by animal skin parchment that more clearly resembled pages. Up next is the calendar. Oh yes, the calendar. The Julian calendar introduced by Julius Caesar, was a reform of the Roman calendar, taking effect shortly after the Roman conquest of Egypt. The Julian calendar split the year for the first time into 365 days, divided into 12 months, with the leap day added to February every 4 years. I've witnessed the leap day before, or leap year as I may call it. Months of the year. Though we think of September, October, November, December as months of 9, 10 and 11 and 12, these months were 7, 8, 9 and 10 on the ancient Roman calendar. Now I just want to explain this before we even get to why these were 7, 8, 9 and 10. Sept is 7. This is also the same case in French. It's sep in French, siete in Spanish, sette in Italian. October is 8 because it's octo, 8. In French it's called huit, though it's huit. In Spanish it's ocho. In Italian it's otto. In November is 9. Novem. In Italian it's nove. In French it's neuf. In Italian it's nueve. And 10, it's decem, I think, decem or dec. In Italian it's dici. In French it's dix. In Spanish it's diez. So yeah, I just want to make it quick because I just really love talking about languages. So now we have months of the year. We're going to start from the first month in the ancient Roman calendar until the last one, and you're going to be surprised, like, this was the first month of the ancient Roman calendar. So March was the first month of the new year in ancient Rome, or Martius. Some historians believe the Romans named March after Mars, the Roman god of war. Avril, oh wait, no, this is the French. This is the French equivalent. Aprilis, or April, was named after the goddess Aphrodite, from the Latin word aperio, to open, because plants begin to grow in this month. Maius, or May, was named after Maya, an earth goddess of growing plants. Oh yeah, it's the other page. Junius, June, was named after Juno, the patroness of marriage and weddings. July was named after Julius Caesar in 44 BC. Previously, July was called Quintilis, which is Latin for fifth. August was named after Augustus Caesar in 8 BC. Previously, August was called Sextilis, which was Latin for sixth. September came from septet, Latin for 7. October came from octo, which is Latin for 8. November came from novem, which is Latin for 9. December came from decem, which is Latin for 10. Januarius was named after Janus, the god of beginnings and endings. Februarius was named after the festival Februa, around 690 BC by Numa Pompilius. Now, February was the last month of the year, but the Gregorian calendar changed it to December, because January was apparently it was named after the god of beginnings and endings, so of course you have to make it the first month of the year. So here it states that in 1582 Pope Gregory adjusted the calendar, so most Western nations began celebrating the start of the year on 1st January. This new calendar became known as the Gregorian calendar. I'm just gonna adjust my light here. I don't know why it's getting dim. It's literally charging. It's like 3 bars. Anyway, so we're gonna continue. Days of the week. Sunday, or dies solis in Latin. Sol is the ancient Roman sun god. Now, when we were tackling this lesson in English, I thought to myself, why is Sunday in French, Spanish and Italian called dimanche? Domingo, and Domenica. So I did some research after that, and I found out that since Christianity spread throughout the Roman Empire, they wanted to, just keep paganism away. So Sunday was renamed into Dimanche, Domenica, or Domingo. I forgot who they named it after. I think it was Saint Dominic. Why is Sunday called Domingo? Because it means Dominicus in Latin, which means of the Lord. So it means that it's the day of the Lord, Sunday. So quite literally, the modern Romance language words, the modern Romance languages words for Sunday is the day of the Lord, because they wanted to just keep paganism low-key. And plus, after prosecuting Christianity for years and years and years, they finally accepted it, and even went on to change the name of the month. The name of the days. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Now up next is Monday, which is Dies Lunae, and it was named after Luna, the ancient Roman moon goddess. Then we have Tuesday, Dies Martis. Mars is the ancient Roman god of war. Then we have Wednesday, Dies Mercury. Mercury is the messenger of the ancient Roman gods and a god of commerce. Thursday, Dies Jovis. Jupiter, or Jove, is the king of the ancient Roman gods and a god of sky and thunder. Zeus. Friday, Dies Veneris. Venus is the ancient Roman goddess of love. Saturday, Dies Saturni. Saturn is the ancient Roman god of fun and feasting. Now I wrote down the modern Romance languages words, the equivalent of you can see that there. So I've noticed some patterns as well, So Dies Lunae in Latin, French it would be lundi, in Italian it would be lunedì, in Spanish it would be lunes, Dies Martis, mardi, martedì, martes, Dies Mercury, mercredi, mercolodi, miércoles, Dies Jovis, jeudi, giovedì, jueves, Dies Veneris, vendredi, venerdì, viernes, Dies Saturni, samedi, il sabato, sábado. So yeah, it's... oh, still have something in the back. Then we have newspaper. The first newspaper was created in 59 BC. I have to underline this. 59 BC, the orders of Julius Caesar, a daily papyrus newspaper. The Acta Diurna was distributed in locations in Rome. Its motto was publicize and propagate. Ooh, propaganda. The Acta Diurna kept Romans current on events of interest: weddings, births, deaths, crimes, trials, monies in the treasury from the provinces, the cost of the supply of grain, movements and events in the imperial family, gladiator events, military and political news, as well as some human interest stories. Food feasts. The festive consumption of food and drink was an important social ritual in the Roman world. The Romans also distinguished between specific types of gatherings, and these are 3 types, and I jokingly call them breakfast, lunch and dinner. But these 3 are actually called epulum, which is the public feast, the cena is the dinner, and the commissazzo, or the drinking party. Oh my gosh. 3-course meal. In ancient Roman culture, the main meal of the day was known as cena, or the dinner, but now it's like lunch or something. The cena was an important focus of Roman social and family life. Excuse me. I just had my cena earlier, which is why I'm burping a lot. During the period of the Roman Republic, the cena developed first into 2 courses and then later into 3. The first course was known as the Gustatio, I think, because, you know, whatever. The second was Mensae Primae, and the third was Mensae Secundae. How ironic that the third is called Secundae when it's the third. Today, many people still consume the main meal as 3 separate courses: a starter, a main, and the dessert. Summary, wow. It's finally the end, okay? Okay, bear with me. We're gonna be ending soon. So this is the summary. These examples highlight only a few Roman contributions to the modern world. In fact, many of our current habits, traditions, and systems can be traced back to Roman times. As a period of history, the Roman times are still highly influential on many aspects of our modern lives. And there you go, that was a lesson on the contributions of ancient Rome. Grazie a tutti for listening to me. It was a great lesson, but I have to give my insights. You know, it's just a thing. You know, as an Italian, I have to see if this is correct. You know, because this is talking about ancient Rome. You know, it's a land of the Italians. We have to think if it's the right thing. You know. Alright, I'm gonna stop that. Might offend some Italians here. So what are my insights on this lesson? I don't even know. I'm reviewing and I don't know what my insights are. But okay, seriously, on a serious note though, it's really interesting how these are still in the modern world, and it's really interesting how this interconnects with my interest, and my interest is about language. And I think they talked about currency in here. Wow, there's no currency. I swear they talked about currency, but it's gone. They didn't include it. They don't want me to share my cool hobby. Wow, that's so shameful of me. Anyways, my insight on this is that this lesson really shows how influential the Romans are. I mean, no way, right? We literally just the lesson literally just said that we're still using what the Romans did or something. But yeah, but also you've also seen some stuff that was changed because, you know, Christianity spread throughout the Roman Empire, like Sunday from Dies Solis to Dimanche, Domingo, Domenica. It's really interesting how the shift of things just affected what the Romans had built sometimes, you know. And I don't even know what to say, but like, I believe it was such a big turning point when the empire adopted Christianity as their religion. You know, they were prosecuting Christians so much, but once they adopted it, they loved it so much to the point that they'd even changed the name of the day just to honor the Lord, you know. So yeah, this is a really interesting lesson, and hopefully I could answer something tomorrow, and I doubt that I actually will, but I just still hope and pray that God will give me the wisdom to answer all of my exams, because, you know, nothing is impossible with God. If Christianity spread throughout the Roman Empire, nothing is impossible with him. He did the impossible. Spread Christianity in what was once the state that was persecuting it. The very state persecuting Christianity, now a Catholic nation. Italy, France, Spain, Portugal, all Catholics. You know why? Because the Romans adopted it and loved it. Anyways, that's the video for now. I hope that you enjoyed this 30-minute lesson with me, and I hope that you learned something new and you learned some factual information than just me yapping about banknotes. You know, I believe that this is a great video that I've made because I guess I've made something that's different for once, you know, talking about what I do in my school or something. But anyways, I hope that you guys are having a great day and you guys are doing great. and that if you have an exam right now, please study and don't be a failure like me. Goodbye.